On Tuesday, August 2nd, voters in Kansas overwhelmingly rejected a proposed amendment to the state constitution that would have opened the pathway for extreme anti-abortion bans. This is good because, at least for now, women across Kansas and some in the surrounding states where abortion has recently been banned will be able to access abortion in Kansas. But it is crucial to draw the right lessons from this experience and not the wrong lessons. So here are 4 important points. First, there is a tremendous reservoir of potential fury, commitment, and determination among millions and millions of women and others throughout society to fight for abortion rights and for women's liberation. The energy and passion with which a great many women and others campaigned against this Kansas amendment provides a window into the depth of fury and energy and commitment that could be and needs to urgently be unleashed in a massive struggle in the streets to win back the legal right to abortion nationwide. And this includes many not only in the progressive pockets and urban areas of this red state and others. There are also deep contradictions, even within the solid core of fascist supporters, especially among the women whose lives have depended on access to abortion and birth control. This reveals the potential for serious repolarization on this question, if it is fought for decisively. And this leads me to the second big lesson. In order to call forward the fight that is needed, we have to sharpen up the truth that the fight over abortion is about whether women will be enslaved or emancipated. Forcing women to have children against their will is a form of enslavement. Women need abortion on demand and without apology, and this needs to be fought for boldly. But this is the exact opposite of what the major voices of the Democratic Party and the so-called movement that is slavishly tied to them has been doing, including in this recent vote in Kansas. The publication The Economist summed up the approach taken by the pro-choice establishment in this way, quote, "The pro-choice campaign triumphed through smart strategy. Instead of slogans explicitly about abortion, it emphasized personal liberty and privacy. The front of the main leaflet distributed by Kansans for Constitutional Freedom, the cannily named group opposing the amendment, simply read, 'It's up to us to keep Kansans free.' Television ads urged viewers to say no to more government control."
Say no to more government control.
The pro-choice side prevailed in part by running ads framing this as a rights issue, borrowing language from opponents of COVID lockdowns.
It's a strict government mandate.
This is not the smart strategy. This is a losing strategy. It accepts and reinforces the terms set by the fascists. It accelerates their assault and disorients and demobilizes those who support abortion rights. And the Democrats and way too much of the so-called pro-choice movement have been taking this kind of approach for decades, demobilizing people away from the streets, channeling them instead into one election after another on defensive terms, when what is urgently needed is calling forth the fury of women and all who care about justice to stand up against this fascist assault and change the terms throughout society in favor of justice and liberation. Meanwhile, through this whole time, the fascists have never gone off the offense, screaming that abortion is murder and setting doctors up to be assassinated.
Killing babies in America. That's the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. For $5,000, Tiller, the baby killer as some call him, will perform a late-term abortion for just about any reason. This man, Dr. George Tiller, known as Tiller, the baby killer, is performing late-term abortions without defining the specific medical reasons why.
Central County 911.
Hey, somebody just came in and shot him in our church.
Somebody shot someone?
Yes, Dr. Tiller. Dr. George Tiller was just shot.
They've captured key levers of the state and built up a movement that refuses to be bound by the laws as we have known them.
An abortion facility was hit by a bomb blast.
Bomb blasts at 3 abortion clinics.
28 abortion clinics and information centers have been bombed or set afire.
The gunman shot 4 people before escaping here.
You cannot be a Christian and vote Democrat in this nation. They are God-denying demons that butcher babies and hate this nation.
Third, the fight over abortion is not momentary or superficial. It is not just about who will come out ahead in one or another election cycle. This fight is deeply rooted in the oppression of women and the patriarchal family. And these are deeply rooted in the system of capitalism imperialism that we live under in this country. In the last several generations, owing both to major economic changes in the US and around the world, as well as to the tremendous struggle that women have waged for their liberation, women have entered into public life and into work in ways that would have been unimaginable before. And there have been huge changes in the institution of the family. And none of this would have been possible without access to abortion and to birth control. Yet, as Bob Avakian wrote in his 2021 New Year's statement, quote, "The elimination of male supremacy is impossible within the confines of this system. This is true because male supremacy has been deeply woven into the fabric of this society, and because this system is based on capitalist commodity relations and exploitation. Things are produced to be exchanged or sold through a process in which masses of people work for a wage or salary to create profit that is accumulated by capitalists who employ them and control their work. A system in which the patriarchal family unit remains an essential economic and social component and requirement, even as it is being put under increasing strains. And the fascist section of the ruling class has, over a number of decades now, waged a relentless attack on constitutional rights and mobilized their social base of religious fundamentalist fanatics to forcefully and often violently assert traditional patriarchal oppression, with the assault on the right to abortion and even birth control, a major focus of this attempt to essentially enslave women." End quote. Putting an end to the oppression of women and fully defeating this Christian fascist assault on abortion will take a revolution, overthrowing this system in which this oppression is rooted. So finally, point 4, a radical resolution is coming. Whatever temporary setbacks or local defeats these Christian fascists may suffer along the way, and let's be clear, right now, in state after state, they are mainly succeeding in banning abortion. They are not going to relent until they are decisively defeated. Just a few days after the Kansas vote, Indiana effectively wiped out the right to abortion in that state. As Bob Avakian went on to quote from an earlier work of his in that New Year's statement, quote, "The whole question of the position and role of women in society is more and more acutely posing itself in today's extreme circumstances. This is a powder keg in the U.S. today. It is not conceivable that all this will find any resolution other than in the most radical terms and through extremely violent means. The question yet to be determined is, will it be a radical reactionary or a radical revolutionary resolution? Will it mean the reinforcing of the chains of enslavement, or the shattering of the most decisive links in those chains and the opening up of the possibility of realizing the complete elimination of all forms of such enslavement?" End quote. It is time for all those who care about women and all those who love justice to cast off illusions and prepare for struggle, to unleash the fury of women as a powerful force standing up against this fascist tide and demanding legal abortion on demand and without apology nationwide, to unite all who can be united in this fight from many diverse perspectives, as is being done and fought for by Rise Up for Abortion Rights, and for growing numbers of people to wage this fight as an organized part of the movement for revolution so that we can truly and finally break all the chains.